insert generic greeting here, and welcome to another episode of Please Learn From My Mistakes. Now, the situation I'm going to talk about in a second has only unfolded over a little bit over a week, but it felt like months actually, because of all the stress I endured during this. And meanwhile, I knew I had to make a video about this, but I wasn't sure how to call that video. And my original thought was something like, do not use DHL Express internationally. But then I realized that people would misjudge what this video would be about, and I really don't want to clickbait the situation, because, admittedly, most of this could have been avoided if I would have done my research properly. Now, it still has a lot to do with stupid systems that made this even be possible to be happening. So I'm gonna talk about that, but I just hope that with the story time I can maybe avoid some people making the same mistake, and therefore maybe people will not have the same stress as I did. But before we get into the situation, I just want to explain how we even got to that point, like how this was even possible. So if you watched my content for a long time, you know about this. But for a couple of years now, I've been making videos where I try candy and snacks from other countries with some of my friends. And originally, there were some stores in Germany I could buy things from other countries from. Then I started going to online stores. For example, for the Israel video, we got a candy box from an Israeli online store. But at one point, there were no other online stores from countries I didn't get snacks from. So then I started buying snacks and candy in countries I travel to, which, limits me, but at least as much as I'm traveling every year, gave me some opportunities to get candy from countries I hadn't had candy from before. So when we planned to go to Jordan this spring, I was like, hey, I can buy some stuff there. I asked online on Reddit, which maybe wasn't the best idea, if the local postal service from Jordan would be a good idea to send myself a box of candy, and everybody was like, no, use DHL. So I trusted them. Maybe that was my first mistake. We also looked into booking an extra backpack or something like that for the plane, but it seemed like a lot of stress to do that because we had to switch planes and all of that. So I was like, okay, I guess that the mail delivery thing would be the more chill option. And we had still a lot of stress with that because in Jordan, Friday and Saturday are the weekends, which are exactly the days we were in the capital pretty much every time. And even when we were in the capital on a day that wasn't a Friday or Saturday, we were there too late in the day. So sending it from the capital was not an option. Luckily, in the southernmost town of Jordan, called Aqaba, I think that's how you pronounce it, there was also a DHL postal office. So I was like, okay, we're just gonna go there. I'm gonna send my package from there. That plan was doomed from the get-go. But before we get into that, let me just show you the package we sent off. I'm not sure why I'm doing this at this point of the video, mostly because my battery is running out and I want to have this clip on camera before I have to switch batteries. Now, admittedly, this is not the biggest box. Saying that, and it's bigger than my head. It is not that big, and the box we initially wanted to send was even bigger, which is gonna play into the story a lot. I just realized that I have to leave for university in a couple minutes, so I'm gonna have another break within filming, which is good timing to have been starting to film this video. But whatever, I digress. Getting back to the topic, to explain what happened on the day we sent the package off, basically, as I said, I had this idea to buy some candy in Jordan, and we kind of put that onto the day where I actually sent the package off. Because we were driving throughout the country, and my friend was like, there's no point in buying everything on day one to then drive it through the country for like an entire week, which is a fair point, so we didn't do that. So on that very morning in Aqaba, we first went to a big supermarket, and that store had literally only imported foods. Like nothing was from Jordan, which was like kind of weird to me personally. So then we started going to these small one-stop shop kind of places. So like, I don't know how these are called in other countries, but the very tiny all-night kind of shops where there's only like 20 products and you buy like beer at night and stuff like that. We went into like a dozen of these. Literally, I searched shop on Google Maps and we drove from shop to shop to shop. And every of them had different products. So I just started collecting Jordan products, basically. I also had a list from Reddit again, because some people recommended me products to buy. So I went through that list. I didn't get everything, but most of the products. And then I got some additional ones that were also, saying on the package, produced in Jordan. I also got some products from the United Arab Emirates because I was like, this way I can make videos about candy from 2 countries, why not? And I ended up with quite a few bags of food, essentially. And then we went to the DHL Express store and I was like, hey, I want to send this off. So the guy took us to the back and got a package and we started putting everything in. And the package did fit really well. So I was like, okay, so what is this gonna cost? And he laughed at us. And I was like, it was at this point I knew I fucked up. I think the initial price he told us was around 200-ish euros. So over $200. And the total price I paid for the candy was maybe like 30 euros. That would be stupid. So then I asked like, okay, can we reduce the package? Can we send off less? What would the price be? I also asked for the smallest package, and the smallest package would have been still ridiculously expensive and I would have no point in sending the smallest package off. So we ended up getting this one, which by the way did cost like 175 euros. So around $200. He gave me like a discount on it. So this is not even the price this would have been. This would have been more expensive. Which means I think I am wrong in remembering the first one. I think the first one was even pricier. So I paid like almost 10 times the price for the package. That is a good idea. But like when he told us the price, we stood there for a while. And we were talking about how expensive it would be to book extra package for both flights. Not even regarding the fact that I didn't have an extra bag. So I would have had a package with me and I don't know how airplanes handle that. Or if that would have been broken, which is very likely. Not to mention how annoying it would have been in Germany to have like a massive package, a package much bigger than this, carrying with me on my way home. Because like I wasn't flying to my town. I couldn't really tell what the best option was. I knew I wanted the candy. So I decided to send that candy home. That was my next mistake. Because this is where the story actually starts. All of this is just prelude. Prelude? Prelude? Is that the correct term? If anybody's wondering how we got to use a smaller package, I used one plastic bag to fill it with candy. And then when we were at the airport, I got myself a duty-free bag. I just asked in the duty-free store if they could give me a bag and put my plastic bag full of candy inside that bag because then it looked like I bought stuff in the duty-free shop. The thing is as well, I thought like, what if the package never arrives? Then I would have at least that bag of candy, so I could still make a Jordan candy video. Now, as we can see, everything arrived here. It wasn't as simple as I thought it would be. I'm probably gonna cut open this package in this video actually, because I want to show you what's in here. This was the messiest way I could have ever opened the package. But anyway, I think it's kind of open now. More or less, actually. I don't know how this opens. It's filled to the brim, actually. I'm gonna show you things that are in this package while we talk about the story. That's what we're gonna do in this video. Is this actually, there's like a donut thing. And I hope this didn't go bad. I do think before we do that though, I have to run to the university. So this package is gonna sit on my desk for a while and I'm gonna be back in like a couple hours and then we're gonna film the rest of this video. I don't know what this mess is, but whatever. So we sent it off on a Wednesday, the 29th of March to be exact, in the southern town of Aqaba. And the guy in the DHL Express post office told us that it could even arrive before we arrived back home in Germany, which would have been the same Sunday, which sounded a bit unbelievable because first it needed to travel up to Amman, the capital, then it needed to travel to Kuwait or Bahrain or one of those countries for some reason, from where it then would travel to Germany. And like, I was like, this is not gonna be at my doorstep when I come home, but it would be cool if it would be. So we sent it off, thinking nothing much of it. He didn't give me any further information. He didn't say that I have to do anything for the package to arrive at my house. So I was like, sure, everything is gonna go fine. Everything was not going fine. Here we have tomato flavored drinks. I'm just gonna digress a little bit. When I got back home with my fake duty-free bag, everything in there was from Jordan, so I think a lot of these products will be from the United Arab Emirates because I bought quite a bit of their products. Wait, I need to check the calendar. I actually forgot. Would have had to look up the date actually. So I got back home on the 2nd of April, which was the Sunday in the very same week. And I was ready to go to bed, but I got my mail out of the post box, and there was like a very thick letter from DHL. Basically, it was a letter from customs telling me they need all this information from me. It was a list of like several points. And if they don't get this information by the 4th of April, they're gonna send back my package. Now, it was already going into the 3rd of April. So imagine we would have stayed in Jordan like a day or two longer. The package would have just gone back without me being able to do anything about this. Which is, first of all, strange to me that the guy at the DHL Express delivery office wouldn't tell me that, because he had no idea when we're going back. So it could have been we are like 2 more weeks in Jordan and all of this would have been for nothing. So that would be fantastic, especially again, $200 for this package. And I did not know this delivery person nor anyone else in Jordan. So if it would go back, it would just sit there and go bad. A lot of the information they wanted was quite simple. They wanted a copy of my passport, but I could send them a photograph. They wanted my boarding pass, and I was kind of confused because we had to switch airplanes and I didn't know if they wanted to travel to Jordan, travel back from Jordan, both. So I just sent them a ton of boarding passes. But here's the biggest problem. They wanted a full list of every product in the box. So in here's like stuff like this. Like random cookies, singular chocolate bars, more random cookies. I think these are from the Emirates actually. Even more cookies. A ton of different chocolate bars in here. Like, look at this. This is all just random chocolate bars. Waffles with different flavors. More cookies. Some random protein nut bar thing. I don't even know what that is. This has no label. This has no description. How would I describe this? Random unlabeled sugar roll. Like, how, what? I would genuinely, without looking into the package, not be able to tell you how many flavors of those I bought. I bought all of them that were there, which apparently were 4. But like, if you would ask me that while me not having access to my package, I would have said 3 or 5 or 6 because I have no freaking clue. And it's like the same. I mean, you just saw how many chocolate bars I got out. There's even more like random chocolate things in here. And like random, just like mini cookie packets. Because I wanted to have like as many flavors of things as I could. And like all of these were like, I don't know, 10 cents. Those were super cheap. So I was like, yeah, just gonna buy more and more. I have like a ton of flavors from this random brand. And I wouldn't be able to tell you if I had 6 or 5 or 7 flavors because I just bought all of them that were there. Apparently they were 7. And I would have confidently said I have 6 of them. So, you know, so much for that. You probably can imagine that I had quite a struggle with describing the contents. Especially because I did not keep track of how many chocolate bars, how many cookie rolls and stuff like that I did buy. I just went into small shop after small shop, and every time I saw a product that I didn't have yet, I just bought it. We didn't even have full receipts. Some of these stores did not give us receipts at all. Some of them just gave us like the card receipt. So basically saying you paid 7 Jordanian dinar, but like not the receipt with the items, like not an itemized bill. We had some of those, but even the ones we had were completely in Arabic. So there was no way for me to even guess how many products of what kind I had. This essentially would mean that if they don't have a solution for this, all my products would go back. I would think you can imagine my panic at midnight from the 2nd to the 3rd of April while not knowing what to do. So I sent them this very long email. I sent them my boarding passes. I asked, hey, are pictures of the passport okay? And also, I am unable to give you a full list of items. So I got 2 emails back. The first email said, yeah, a photograph of your passport is completely okay. So that was cool. But then I got a second email, and that one said, well, we need a full list, otherwise the package will go back. And I'm sitting here like... So I gave the customs a call. And the first person was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna label it as travel luggage or something like that, he said. And he made it sound like everything's okay. And on the very same day, which was now the 3rd of April, somewhere in the afternoon, I got an email that said basically, well, we need a full list of every item until the 6th of April, otherwise your package is gonna go back. So now I had 2 more days, but still no way to figure out what was in my package. And I was like, that is impossible. So I wrote him another email. I explained why that was impossible and that I need help. And, if they have to open my package, sure, I guess, because I have no freaking idea what to do. Even if I take the receipts that I had and let them be translated by people on the internet, which by the way is something I did, this will not be a full list of items, and customs made it sound like they want a full list of items, it is basically impossible. Like, there's no way to do that. And I got no reply, so on the 4th of April, I gave him a call again. I was like, did you get my email? What am I gonna do about this? So then I was told, it is not travel luggage. I think I was told that if they would label it as travel luggage, I would have to pay another, 60 euros or something like that, on top of what I already paid for it to be delivered to me. Which is cool that the first person on the phone didn't even tell me that, but also I paid so much money I don't want to add another 60, but then again I obviously would rather pay that than for the package to go back. Then they also told me if they have to open it to check what was in there, they could tell me what is in there and I could give them a description, but I would have to pay 160 euros, which is again almost $200, yet again, just to figure out what is in the package, so that was not a solution. So then the lady on the phone told me they just need a full list of brands that were in there. So she was like, I don't need to name every single item, but I need to say 6 chocolate bars from this brand and 5 chips bars from this brand and 3 candy bars from this brand. And then everything would be cool. Now the problem is, and I told her that 3 times on the phone, and I feel like she didn't really understand me, I still wouldn't know the brands. Again, I paid no attention to what I was buying. So there's no way for me to figure out any brands whatsoever. So I made up a complete bullshit list. Because she was like, oh yeah, just go on Google, type in Jordanian sweets, and you will probably recognize the products and then just use the brands for that. If you Google for candy from Jordan, you get nothing. You get literally nothing. I tried in so many ways. You don't get a singular brand. You don't even get Jordina, which seems to be a big brand. Hold on. Oh yeah, this for example. This is from Jordina. It's up here. A lot of my products are from Jordina. I forgot that. I didn't know that brand name anymore. But not even that shows up if you look for sweets from Jordan. There's nothing that comes up as a brand. So I made up a complete bullshit list. The only thing I could figure out were those Kitco sticks. That's the only thing I could figure out. Because I think it said Kitco on one of my receipts. And I was like, oh, that's that. Then for example in here is Today chocolate. Oh, this is very shiny. I was recommended to buy that, and I basically made up that I had 10 products from them, even though I had only 2, because I did not know any other brands, and I could not make up any brand because I didn't know brand names. There was no way to figure out brand names. So I gave them this complete bullshit list. I completely made up prices because I had prices on the receipts, but they were not matching up anything. The total was just super low. The package said 25 Jordanian dinar because the person at the DHL Express station estimated how much they were worth, but realistically, no matter how I was counting the bills we had, it didn't even add up to that. There was no way to even get to 25, which is why my list ended up with 17, which also made me feel like they could think I'm lying to them, but I literally have no product in my mind that I could lie about existing, so it would even end up at a price that is listed on the box, which was yet another problem. But I didn't know how to solve that. So I sent them off this list, and then I didn't get a reply really. Meanwhile, I posted all the receipts we had onto Reddit and was like, hey guys, can you all please help me translate? I didn't even end up using that, but I was like, if they write me back that this list is not accurate enough because it was very freaking general, that I can write them a better list. So I had people translate every Arabic on the receipt. Then the waiting game started. And I called several times over the next couple of days. I was first calling and being like, hey, is everything okay with my package? On the customs website, nothing changed after I sent off the email. Every single morning between 3 and 5 a.m., it updated itself, but it said always the same thing, even though it updated itself. So nothing was happening. And I was like, do they still need information from me? I have no idea. Additionally, on the email I got on the 3rd of April, it said that after 2 days, every day of storage costs a certain amount of money, and it was not like very little money. I called again, was like, hey, is everything alright? Yeah, it's at customs. So I was waiting for a couple of days for nothing to happen. And I understand that customs is probably a stressful place to be at. So this is probably normal. It just feels strange when you pay like so much money for an express delivery package and then it just stays in customs for most of the time without anything happening. And again, this was only like 3 or 4 days, but given the stress I endured before and also the uncertainty because I still wasn't fully convinced that everything was alright. I still had a fear that it was on the way to go back or that I suddenly would hear from them, hey, no, this is not enough information, goodbye, or some shit like that. But then finally, I basically got a text message with a link where it was like, hey, you have to pay the customs and taxes and stuff like that. Click on this link. And I was like, is that a scam? So I was staring at my phone for like 20 minutes after waking up and wasn't sure if I should click it, but then I just clicked it. And essentially, what I had to pay was like €1.70 or less than $2, which makes sense for a package that has a worth of like 20 euros, obviously. But it's also like so much stress to pay you €2. Like, it feels like such a damn joke, even though I'm happy that I didn't have to pay like ridiculous fees, but like still. It did say completed at one point, and then on the 11th of April, so Tuesday, which is yesterday, I got a text message that was like, hey, we're gonna deliver the package to you today. And what I like about DHL Express, I think I got one DHL Express package before, I don't know why anymore. They call you and they're like, hey, I'm bringing your package then and there, which was good because yesterday I had to work and that way I was able to get the package without missing, my job. The only thing I always find strange is that they call you and they're like, hey, can you come outside? And I'm like, can't you ring the doorbell? But then again, maybe like DHL Express is more stressful than regular DHL because they have to deliver all these packages in express mode. I don't know how that works. I'm not a person that ever worked in delivery, so I'm not trying to shit talk anyone. Safe to say, this entire situation was unnecessarily stressful. The next time I want to have candy from a different country where I have to fly to, I either pay for extra baggage in before and just get another backpack full of candy home, or I use the local postal service. I will never do this whole DHL Express thing anymore, and I would not recommend anyone to do that because this was like so much freaking stress over 20 euros of candy, really. And I think I would have saved a lot of money if I would just have like paid for extra baggage and would have taken another backpack with me. But I think for one of the airlines it wasn't possible, so that's another problem. But yeah, that's the full story of how I paid way too much money to get sweets and candy from Jordan and the United Arab Emirates, which I'm in a second gonna sort out in my apartment because now I have like a full box on my bed. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed listening to me talking about this stupid decision I made, and I hope none of y'all make the same stupid decision because it was a stupid decision, I'm gonna be honest. If you enjoy videos like this one, or travel dogs, travel vlogs, candy tastings, cooking videos, urban exploration, beauty stuff, social commentary, product tests, I don't even know what I'm doing at this point anymore. I would just recommend you to go check out the rest of my channel, see if there's more content you'd enjoy, and if there is, maybe subscribe and stay up to date with everything I'm gonna post in the future. If you want to support me financially, Patreon and Ko-fi are both in the description, the same as my Discord server if you ever want to hang out and talk. And with all of that being said, thank you for watching and hopefully see you next time. I don't know why I keep doing these fake walk away sections, because I have to go back to the camera to turn it off. I don't know. Like, there's nothing there. There's just my kitchen. I can't even... I'm not doing anything back there. I'm not even sure if I'm in frame right now because I'm blind in this perspective.